Hey, my name is Dejanay Christian Jewel Brooks. Welcome to me ranting for a period of time, undisclosed time, about a specific subject matter. Mainly, I feel a little bit indifferent doing this one because this one isn't coming from a place of like need. It's coming from a place of wanting to talk about this. In a sense of every time I do this video is these kinds of videos is literally just for the collective more so. It's not really about me. It's not like it's about me and it's from my experiences, but it's not like something out. It's not something where it's like I feel a yearning to express. I just feel sometimes pushed to express it. But this one is one where I'm like I don't really feel pushed to express it, but I feel a want to express it because I do feel like it's something that could help other people. And so what I'm gonna be talking about right now or for these next so and so minutes is like anxious attachment, anxiety, and then also love and like the reality of how like how sometimes those things can really take away from the joys of experiencing love, um, or not even just experiencing love, but like experiencing an experience, whether it's romantic, platonic, or even like your own life. And so to offer a little bit of like a prologue of what made these feelings or just this reality of like this was something I have to work on within myself, came from last week. I've been really focused on my career and really focused on putting myself out there as an artist and as a musician, specifically as a singer, because for a long time it was something I had an insecurity about, was my voice, and was about performing, and then like the confidence. And even though like I'm a confident person and a charismatic person, I know how to talk to people, was still something that like I grew to be insecure about when it came to people having opinions and forming opinions about me and about my voice and all those other things. And really it just comes from this place of like this fear of rejection. And so it's been a really big deal for me to work on that because I'm going to be one of the most successful people ever. I'm going to be one of the most successful singers and multi-dimensional artists and creatives in the world. And so in order to do that, you have to manifest, and actually like manifestation isn't just like, oh, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Okay, and now I'm gonna sit and wait. No, it's like you have to meet God, and you have to meet your manifestations halfway there, or even mostly there, if that's something you truly want to do, and it's a gift. If that's something you want to do, you'll do it. And so as much as possible, and I'm blessed enough to be in Atlanta, where there's an event every night, especially during the summer. There's something to do every night as an artist and as a creative. And so I've just been like holding myself accountable to at least once a week I'm gonna perform. I'm going to go to an open mic. I'm going to go to a jam, and I'm going to sing. And I'm going to sing in front of people, and I'm gonna work on it. And I'm gonna practice. And it's been really good, but it's something um, I've been noticing about myself is my mind about those things and how after I do it. And so like I'd be nervous when I get up there, and I'd be nervous when I'm doing it, but then like as I'm doing it, that fear and that anxiety kind of washes itself away during the process. But then after, as soon as I get off stage, I have so many notes, and I have so many inner criticism. I have so many like I didn't do this, or I felt like that, and my voice probably was like whatever, and like just all these just negative Nancy intrusive thoughts in my brain. And even though people will be like, you did good, and like and compliment, you get your daps and all that other stuff, but it's still that my own brain is like, nah. And what it is because for such a long time I had that fear about it, and now that I'm proactively doing it and trying to combat the fear, it doesn't mean it's just gonna be like it's perfect and you feel comfortable and confident. And that's why practice is important. But like I just noticed that anxious anxiety within myself kind of rise up after I did something, after I do anything towards my career in that kind of way. And even like working on my album right now is one of those things where it's like I'm almost done. I'm at that finishing touches, those little like the last little tweaks to make sure it's good, make sure it's audible for all platforms and all that stuff. But the music is done, the lyrics are done, the recording's done, all, so it's like, and I can hear the full body, I can hear the full project, and I've worked so hard on it, and I'm so proud of it. But as I'm working on it, as I'm getting to the end of it, I'm just like, like overwhelmed in thought about it, and not because it's bad. Like, I'm really proud of it. It's good music, but it's that fear, it's that anxiety about, fuck, when I am done with this thing completely, I have to give it to the world. I have to give it away, and I have to, like, it can't be my little passion project anymore. It belongs to the people now. Now people have this ability and the right, and now will be forming huge opinions and criticisms and or like or distaste for it and or love, and that it can, it's a little bit nerve-wracking in a way, because you can't really, like, and I think that's the thing too, that's been coming up, is like I've been working on pushing myself in my career to be in front of the world, but within doing that, you have to acknowledge that this world is not all the time. And so it's just been kind of bringing up a lot of just many, like, I don't know how I feel about it, but I feel anxious. And so with that, and then also now the next part of the anxiousness that has been like coming up for me is like I've been allowing myself to date a little bit more and explore the world in a way where it's like finally not repeating trauma. Like anything that resembles a past trauma or a karmic situation or a third party situation or anything messy, I'm like, nah, fuck that, no. But with that, if you are manifesting love, right, and then you reject the things that are negative, or not even negative, but you are like that just ain't for you, and you know it's not for you because you're going through that lesson and you're curving that, God's gonna be like, oh good, you're finally learning, here's something that is good for you. And that's what I've been kind of getting matched with, is like something that could be potentially great for me, romantically and in a heart space. But thing is about that, you got to match that, and you got to be ready to match all of that. And it's a blessing, but it also brings up some anxieties and some certain fears and certain, like, ooh, am I actually ready for something that is healthy? Can I actually maintain a healthy connection with someone? What does that look like? Because I've never experienced it. I've never seen anyone. Um, I know I've been doing a lot of individual self work, but it's a whole nother thing, especially when it's like when you're trying to manifest a two-person thing, right? It's whole, you can do a lot of inner work by yourself, but that shit will be tested as soon as you get introduced to something that is in that vicinity. And so, like, for me, it's been bringing up a lot of fears of, like, of not even fears, but like just a lot of anxieties of like past situations and just the past repeating itself, and like being like, I I I don't know if this is just gonna be a resemblance of certain things I've gone through before and got over. Um, and I wouldn't even say I don't know. Like, I know it's not, but self sabotage is a bitch. Where you will project this notion onto someone that is completely unrelated to whatever you're going through, uh, because of what you went through before. And so what it was for me was like this week, like I invited someone out to something, and it was, I was so excited. I really wanted them to come, and I was like, because there's a little mini crush, and you like someone, and so you want to spend time with them. But when I invited them out and they confirmed and everything that they were coming and all that, there was just this fear a good 20 to 30 minutes before the time and the range time like had happened, and I'm like, damn, are they gonna show up? Are they actually gonna like be here? And the reason where that first comes from is certain situations in the past where certain ghosting and certain things just kind of just got left, and it hurt me past me, but like adult me now is like, what if it happens again? What if it happens again and I'm stuck in that same situation? Fuck, why did I even ask them? I don't even want to put myself in that position. And all it's just these negative thought patterns and all these just mental sets of like, fuck, I am overthinking and I'm overanalyzing, and I'm being, I'm not gonna say irrational, but I'm being anxious, to say the least. And in that moment, there's two things both of those instances was like the one in the aspect of like the negative thoughts in my career with singing, and then the negative aspect of like allowing myself to be pursue someone in a healthy way. Both of those instigated fears of like fears within me and certain self-sabotaging behaviors. And in both of those instances, I was given two choices. One, to fall into the thought and allow it to take control, or two, nurture myself out of it in a way. I don't know if nurturing is the best word, but like for example with the music, I can easily give into a self-sabotaging pattern of being like, fuck, you know, I sucked and I didn't do a good job. I'm just not gonna do this anymore because it really is like why, like people don't even like it. I don't even like it. It's making me nervous. It's making me feel all these negative emotions and yada 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 yada. Or take a step back from your own mind and be like, nigga, you practicing. You're literally practicing. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. That's why you're doing this in the first place, is so you can practice. So eventually when you are in front of thousands of people, you're not gonna be like, did I do good? Like, you're gonna know because you spent this time now to practice and work on this shit and work on your confidence and work on your relationship to your music and work on how you're performing your music. Because people can tell you a million, 10 different things. It really can, but your mind, if you don't have that like connection to your mind to know, oh, you're good inside of you, fuck everybody else. It's not gonna do anything. And so that was like it wasn't a challenge, but it was just something where it's just like, damn, I really have to allow myself to be a student and stop expecting myself to have it all figured out in the first few times I do it, and have the first few times be fucking perfect and be like, oh my god, I'm Beyonce. I'm not Beyonce. I'm not Beyonce. Beyonce was doing that shit when she was before she even hit puberty. Like, of course she's gonna have this shit down packed, but like, and then even her within herself is this notion of like, you have to practice. You have to practice. You have to be willing to be imperfect with and what you're doing, because if you're not, then you are putting this false expectation and this expectation of yourself that's going to leave you disappointed, thinking, damn, I should have this all figured out. I should have it be perfect on the first go round. You know what I mean? I should have them whipping off their seat. Like, nah, it's not that. But the thing is, it's like, the fact that I'm even allowing myself to do it should be more than enough for my inner self to know, look, you're good. You don't have to be so worried about how people respond to it, because you're allowing yourself in the time and the opportunity to practice and to work on it and to be like a student and be willing to be like, be imperfect and to make these mistakes. But if you weren't, and if you weren't, right, and I'm talking to myself, obviously, like, if I wasn't willing to be patient with myself, and then I just had this expectation of me to be perfect, I would never be good. Because at the end of the day, that means I'm not allowing myself to work on it. At the end of the day, anything that you have or anything that's successful, it takes work. And so that was that test of calling into self and being like, look, calm your little ass down, okay? It's gonna take a little bit of time, that's fine. But be patient and allow yourself to work on it and work on your skills, and don't get so negative in your mind. And then the second thing was like, it was it's weird. It was weird because it's like you have to. It was like I had the opportunity to self-sabotage like a motherfucker, or and self-sabotage and be anxiously attached, or be like, look, we didn't learn that lesson. We didn't experience that past experience. The only reason why you go through past experiences that hurt you is to teach you what you truly deserve. So when you operate in the future, you know, that's for me, that's not for me, period, and that's it. And so with this, it's like, that fear had came, like, what if this person doesn't even show up and I'm just wasting my energy or any type of affection trying to do whatever. And then as soon as those thoughts like started to get overwhelming is when it was like, oh, I'm on the way, you know? And it was a calming sense, but then it was also like, yo, you gotta work on that, because you do not need to be, one, weighing your happiness on someone's proximity or presence or follow through, but then two, God forbid, and I hope it doesn't happen, but God forbid if they don't follow through, what do? Are you going to be back in see shit slam? Or are you going to be able to coddle and take care of yourself and nurture yourself through whatever emotion you go through? And so it was option number two. And for me, I needed to like, and that was like in both of these instances, and last week really was just like, oh, you need to work on your self-confidence. You need to work on your ability to feel confident in regardless to what is going on around you and who is around you. In a sense of like romanticism, because you never know. Situations are situations. I'm young, in my early 20s. The person I like right now may never be anything ever, and that's okay. But does that mean you don't allow yourself to experience it because of the fear of what it could not be and what it can't, lead up to, or which was a big thing that like popped up in my brain, was like, do you allow yourself to shut down for what it possibly could be because of what other situations were in the past that have hurt you? It'd be different, but it's like it easier said than done, because it's one of those things where it's like you sometimes, we learn as humans, we learn through the world, and we learn from how people teach us how to respond. And so for a lot of interactions in my life, there have been a lot of anxiety-based connections, or just great disconnections. And so now, where I'm like, I want to date, and I want to date healthily, right? And I want a partner that's healthy. And I want to, it's not like we're so healthy that we're perfect. No, like in a sense of like, we're healthy because there's individual work that is committedly being done. But in order to manifest that, you have to embody that. And so embodying that is also being like, when you are in situations where your anxiety and that fight or flight or that self-sabotage is getting triggered, it's like, what do you do next? Do you give into the thought and then proactively like allow that to be something that is continuous in your brain of like, fuck? Because now, like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, now I know they're perfect and they're never gonna. They're human. People are human. People fuck up. People do shit, and that's fine. But now it's like, how do you allow yourself to respond in those situations where that is being instigated within you? And for me, the way I had to like combat it is like, I had to go into me real quick and be like, okay, so what are you actually feeling? One. And then also, a lot of things, like, I talk about manifesting, but I talk about manifesting in the sense of, manifesting is just speaking, manifesting is just breathing, manifesting is just being. And so within that, there was this thing that I read, and like, I had this conversation, had a conversation with my coworker, and she had taught me about something that she had heard in the podcast, and it was like, our brains as a human being, for a long time back in like the caveman days, they had a lot of everything was life or death. You know what I mean? It was like, if I eat this berry, I may die. If I fuck with this lion, I may die. And you had to be very, very hyper aware. And so the ones that were overreactive in their minds and anxious and reactive, and was like, okay, you know what? Nah. They survived longer than the ones that were curious little cats. And was like, I don't know, whatever happens, happens. And that's really cool. But that means, though, that the ones that survived, they were programmed to be anxious. We're programmed to be overthinking. We're programmed to think of the worst case scenario first. And even down to like adolescence, I was thinking about that. That was something that that was instilled in me from parental sources, was like, fight or flight. Like, stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. If you anticipate the worst won't surprise you. And yes, there's merit to that and there's value to that, but then also, the thought that came up after that is like, that is probably why I think so negatively when it comes to certain things that I really do want. Like, I really want my career. I really want to be successful in my career. I will be. And I really want a healthy partnership, and I will have that. But the thing is like, that mindset of like, stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. So if I'm in that mindset of like, stay ready, I gotta get ready, that means I'm anticipating the worst case fucking scenario in both of those situations that I really, really want. Instead of just being like, you know what, this would actually go really good. Like, this could go great. This would be an amazing situation. Or and what I had to do was like when those little anxious thoughts were coming up these last couple of days, I was like, I had to like really be like, look, I hear you and I acknowledge you, but if you keep thinking this and you keep believing this and adding weight to that, that's gonna be the reality you live in. And if you don't want that, if you don't want to be in recovery mode, and you don't, and the thing is, everything is manifestation. What you add weight on is what is created. So if I add weight to this person is going to disappoint me, or I am not talented and I'm not performing well, I'm not going. You think my mind and my body and my spirit is going to align to doing the opposite of that and having a healthy dynamic or having a great performance? No, it's not, because I'm saying and I'm adding weight in the belief that it's not gonna work. It's not going to do that, and it's not going to be that because and I'm not saying like ignore your anxiety. There's no way you can there's no way you can just be like, fuck it, I don't, all positive thoughts, good vibes only. You can try, but the reality is there's light and dark in the world, and there's light and dark in our own mind. We have light attributes, we have shadow attributes. My shadow attributes, I'm very fucking insecure sometimes, and I'm very, very, very much in my head about my insecurities. You will never fucking know, and that's great and all. But it doesn't help anybody, nor does it help myself, if anytime I have a negative thought and I'm adding power and frequency and manifestation into that thought, being like, yeah, that's just, it just is what it is, and it's just what it's gonna be, then get upset when it's like that, versus being like, damn, here's this negative thought coming through my brain on a situation that needs my positive attention, that needs light energy, and I'm adding fuel to the fire by proactively thinking and proactively being like, fuck it, it's just gonna suck, and they're just gonna hurt me like, oh girl, and it's just gonna be the same situation, yada 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 yada, versus being like, look, I have no idea what this situation is going to turn into. It may be fucking horrible and it may break my heart, but then I'll learn something from it and I'll move the fuck on. Or what will be even more amazing is if it turns out amazing, if it turns out beautiful, and it turns out to be abundant and fruitful and full of love and creativity, and I'm the most talented and well-known person, and yada yada yada, and one of the best performers in my generation. Or I suck. And that's kind of what, and that is like, or at least for me, that's what my anxiety can, in my thoughts, I don't even say anxiety, just my negative thought patterns can be sometimes, where it's just like, it's this, but that doesn't help me. It doesn't help me. And once again, this video is not like, I didn't feel called to do it, but it may help somebody and it may affect someone. I just more so needed to rant about the power of your thoughts and how you weigh your thoughts, and just what you believe is what's true. And so I'm not saying anxiety is just something that like will go away, or to suppress it or to ignore it, but allow those thoughts to come, but then also acknowledge that if you allow those thoughts to have power, it will become your reality. Like, that's really the whole point I want to drive home, is like, those negative thoughts, they can be something that come, but if you hold on to it and then you add the weight to it, and you continuously give it power, and then when it happens and it comes into fruition, and then you're like, fuck, why, why did I do that, or why, and then and then when it happens and you're like disappointed by it, versus being like, oh, here's a very negative thought that's coming up and that's making me feel X kind of way, whatever negative kind of way, and then you acknowledge it and you're like, but you know what? I deserve great things. I don't think if it does end up negative, it'll be something that'll help me grow, or it'll be the most amazing, abundant thing in the world, and I'm blessed to experience it, and that's it. That's it. And like, easier said than done. Easier said than done, but worth it trying, more so. Worth trying and worth working on, because like, I had like, it was a couple days where just a bunch of little many insecurity things started just popping up, and I was like, okay, this is a lesson. Let's go through this. And I did some solar plexing. I did some solar flexing. I did some solar plexus meditation and some shadow work and thinking about my confidence and my relationship to positive thinking and also my relationship to negative thinking and how that affects my outcome, because at the end of the day your thoughts hold weight and it holds merit. So if you're sitting here being like it's gonna be shit, it's gonna be shit. That, that's the truth. That's the truest thing I can ever offer you. If you say it's gonna be shit and you believe it, it's gonna be shit. But if you say, you know what, this could actually be fucking amazing. This could actually be such a beautiful experience for me. I'm willing to experience everything it has to offer, the highs and the lows, the indifferences, or everything. And I promise you, it would probably not only add peace to your mind, but then it will also add peace and love and just a calmness to the situation. Because the reality is, we don't control shit. The only thing you can really control is how you respond to things. You can't control how other people treat you. You can't control how other people are there for you. You can't control shit but yourself. So you might as well give yourself affirmations and love.